Dartmoor National Park, 368 square miles of wild open moorland, where rivers cut through the valleys and ancient woodlands cling to the hillsides. It's one of the most varied landscapes in Britain and home to an incredible range of wildlife. For many, it's a place to explore. But for me, it's my home, where I grew up, and where my passion for filming wildlife began. Here, each season brings new challenges and new stories to tell, moments of struggle, renewal, and life at its most raw. These are the stories I'll follow across a year on Dartmoor. As winter loosens its grip, Dartmoor's rivers come alive once more. While much of the landscape remains bare and quiet, along the water, the first real signs of spring are already here. A male white-throated dipper. For him, this is where the year begins. He's claimed this stretch of river as his own, a prime piece of real estate. Fast-flowing water means plenty of food, which is not only vital to sustain himself, but to support his future family in the months ahead. For a bird that lives amongst the torrents and spray, the dipper is built for the job. Compact and muscular, with dense waterproof plumage, he can stand firm where few others dare. Beneath the surface, he's utterly at home, diving headfirst into the icy current, to hunt for larvae clinging to the stones below. But a good territory alone isn't enough. He needs to find a mate. But that's easier said than done. A female could be anywhere within a 2-mile stretch of his territory, and flying up and down to find her is a waste of vital energy. So finding his stage among the river's rocks, the male begins to sing. It's easy to forget that this small dark bird, built for the water, is in fact a songbird. His voice is bright and bubbly, rising above the roar of the current. Each phrase cuts cleanly through the noise, a declaration of strength and ownership. The louder he sings, the further his message carries along the valley. And somewhere upstream, a female may be listening. Drawn by the sound, she follows the water downstream until she finds him, a small dark shape standing firm against the current. At first, she's cautious, watching from a distance. Courtship for dippers is as much about practicality as display. A suitable mate must prove not only his fitness, but the quality of his territory. And in this, he wastes no time. Foraging through the shallows, he sifts through the riverbed, surfacing with aquatic insects and larvae, a demonstration of his skill and the richness of his patch. These cold, oxygen-rich waters offer exactly what she needs and have gained her approval. But he now needs to show her he is just as impressive. Calling from the rocks that are his stage, he sings once more. But this time, not to announce his presence, but to reinforce it Between songs, he throws his head back, flashing the bright white bib on his chest. A bold display, designed to catch her eye. Gradually, the female moves closer. And after a brief chase along the water's edge, she no longer rejects his advances. These early encounters are about more than just courtship. They're the first steps in forming a partnership that may last for years. To strengthen their bond, the pair begin to forage together. An important period of assessment, as each gauges the other's skill, while also mapping out the best places to feed. Dipping and diving in the shallows, turning over stones in search of insect larvae. For the pair, this shared cooperation is a quiet but unmistakable signal that she has accepted him. With their partnership sealed, the male song takes on a new role. It's no longer a call to attract, but a signal of commitment to her, and a clear warning to any rivals that he holds this stretch of the river. Along the river, finding the right place to build a nest is everything. It needs to be sheltered from the weather, safe from predators, and close to food. For me, finding it wasn't easy. Dippers like to build in secret.
I've just seen the two dippers absolutely vomit down the river. I think I'm gonna pick up quickly, then follow them because they could be actually going to the next one. Alright, let's go.
But after days of watching their movements, I finally found it. Beautifully placed on the side of a moss-covered boulder was the beginnings of their nest. Together, the pair gather beakfuls of moss, weaving it into a tight rounded dome. Between the layers, they tuck in leaves, grass, and fine roots, building up the structure piece by piece. The damp moss they use isn't random. In a place this wet, not just any moss will do. It needs to be pliable, easy to mould, and hold its shape even against the spray. The male gathers much of the material, returning again and again from the river's edge, while the female shapes and presses the moss into place. It's careful, methodical work. Every strand is pushed, tucked, and woven into place, strengthening the structure from the inside out. While collecting the best materials, dippers test each patch, tugging it gently to see if it will hold, as only the strongest, most workable moss will make it back to the nest. Trip by trip, the nest begins to take form. Each journey adds only a small amount, but together they slowly build into something far more substantial. The rounded dome isn't just for shelter, Its shape helps deflect rain and spray, while the narrow entrance limits heat loss in the cold spring nights, even if it's a little challenging to enter. Between trips, there is little rest. The river never stops moving, and neither, it seems, do they. Leaves, grasses, and vine roots are layered within the moss, adding strength and insulation, binding the nest into a single resilient form. With their nest now reaching completion, the pair's roles begin to shift. The female settles herself carefully inside, while the male waits outside, keeping guard of his territory, ready for the next stages of their year. But they're not the only one responding to the lengthening days. Just beyond the river, another spring ritual is underway. Common frogs have returned, drawn back to the very ponds where they themselves hatched, guided by a powerful homing instinct that leads them without fail to the same stretch of water year after year. The scene is anything but quiet. Males arrive first, crowding the shallows and calling almost constantly. Their throats balloon as they croak, a short, low, rasping sound, more like a purr than a croak. Each call is a signal and advertises fitness. A male that can keep calling is healthy, alert, and ready to mate. As more males arrive, the pond becomes a delicate soundscape of competing voices. Each one hoping to draw the attention of an approaching female. When she finally appears, the balance shifts instantly and the competition intensifies. Dozens of males surge forward, attempting to grab the newly arrived female, piling on until one manages to take hold. This mating embrace, known as amplexus, which can last for hours, sometimes even days, as the pair waits for the moment she releases her eggs. But in crowded ponds, rival males are never far away, and pairings rarely go unnoticed. Any sign of an opportunity triggers a rapid response, and they aren't always polite about it. Rival males often try to force one another off, pushing and climbing, even kicking in an attempt to break the competitor's grip. Clambering over one another's backs and limbs, they jostle for position in the shallows, each trying to gain the slightest advantage. The struggle is relentless, as males circle constantly, testing each other's strength and probing for weakness, waiting for one male to loosen his grip. But these mating balls can quickly become dangerous. A single female can end up trapped beneath several males, pinned below the surface. With little chance to reach the air, she can drown in the struggle. But for the males who manage to maintain their hold, the next challenge becomes endurance. You must cling tightly behind the female's forelegs, One slip now could allow another male to take his place, undoing all his effort. As he twists and shifts, adjusting his weight to maintain his balance in the churning water, their only hope is to escape the chaos and moving towards calmer waters, until the moment the female releases her eggs, where he'll fertilise them instantly. Each egg cluster is carefully deposited in shallow pockets of water, where the jelly holds them in place and protects the embryos from washing away. Across the pond, countless other pairs are doing the same, and by morning, the water is transformed. Its surface is dotted with vast, shimmering masses of spawn, each cluster containing hundreds of tiny black embryos, suspended in the clear protective jelly, a shield against drying out, but little defense against hungry predators or sudden frosts. For the frogs, parenting ends here. Their work is done, leaving the next generation to face the world alone. But elsewhere on Dartmoor, the breeding season is only just beginning. And for many of the moor's birds, raising young is a full-time job. Inside a narrow crack of an old oak tree, a pair of blue tits are already deep into their most demanding time of year. Inside the nest, the chicks are just days old. Blind, featherless, and entirely dependent, their needs are relentless. A single chick may require food every 10 to 15 minutes, and with broods often numbering 6 or more, the parents can be forced into well over 1,000 feeding visits each day. Each journey brings just a tiny reward, a caterpillar or a spider, just soft enough for those fragile beaks. From early morning until evening, the adults shuttle back and forth, almost without pause. It's a finely balanced routine that is repeated hundreds of times a day, and for birds weighing little more than a few grams, raising a family is an extraordinary test of endurance. Not far away, another nest hums with activity, this time belonging to great tits. Their chicks are slightly older, and with growing bodies comes an ever-increasing demand for food. At peak activity, the adults may visit the nest more than 500 times a day, but linger too long and they risk being spotted by predators. Each trip carrying just a single beakful, their visits are fast and purposeful. A quick landing, a sudden burst of begging calls from inside, and the parent vanishes into the hollow, only to emerge seconds later, all in the hopes to raise the next generation. But life here is not without risk. Just through the trees, a different sound resonates, a rhythmic chattering from deep within a nest cavity. A family of great spotted woodpeckers is raising chicks of their own. Woodpeckers are formidable neighbours. Their powerful beaks can excavate deep hollows, and they're known to raid nests of smaller birds, if given the chance. Each time a parent arrives, the calls erupt into a frenzy. Every feed helps the chicks strengthen their wings, preparing them for the moment they will cling to the cavity's edge. and take their first leap into the forest. Deeper in the undergrowth, another family is approaching a crucial moment. A wren's nest, a tight ball of moss hidden within a post, is bursting with life. Inside, the chicks are the oldest of all, fully feathered, bright-eyed, and packed so tightly together that the nest itself trembles with their movement. They are days, perhaps hours, from fledging. Weighing little more than a 2-pound coin, wrens may be tiny, but their broods are among the largest of any small British bird. So feeding them is a monumental task. As the chicks grow, their demand for food increases dramatically, and in the final days before fledging, the parents can make well over 200 feeding visits in a single day. They deliver these morsels to each chick in turn, removing their waste as they go, keeping the nest clean, and then vanishing again in seconds. For the chicks, their final push is close. As their wings stretch against the crowded walls and their nest begins to feel impossibly small, they'll leave their carefully hidden refuge behind and make their first short flights into the undergrowth. As summer settles over Dartmoor, many other families are also approaching a turning point, each facing their own challenges. Here, on the edge of a quiet meadow, another family is emerging into the evening light. The cubs appear first, breaking into sudden bursts of play. At this age, play serves a purpose. Chasing, wrestling, and pouncing will help develop the skills they'll need as adults, as well as strength, coordination, and the ability to read the behaviours of others are all learned here through repeated trial and error. Even small actions like learning when to retreat and when to press forward will matter later in life. Red foxes thrive in mixed farmland and field edges like this one, where the habitat offers cover, hunting opportunities, and plenty of space for the young cubs to explore. But feeding a growing litter in summer is still demanding. A vixen may travel several kilometers away each day to find suitable prey, and tonight the cubs won't go hungry. As Mum arrives carrying a rabbit, the cubs rush towards her with excitement, as each cub tries to claim the best position, tugging and testing their strength against their siblings. This behaviour, although chaotic, is an important stage in learning how to handle prey. As the cubs feed, the vixen keeps watch. Her posture is calm, but alert. Her attention fixed on the fields around them. Once they have eaten their fill, their energy begins to fade. The lessons of the evening are all over, until tomorrow, when the learning will begin all over again. But while the young sleep during the day, Elsewhere in the grasslands, another creature is beginning its own chapter. A male soldier beetle, and he's on a mission to find a mate before his time runs out. So he starts his search. A female is likely to be resting at the very tops of the swaying blades, basking in the warm sunshine. But when you're the size of someone's fingernail, the tall grasses of the meadow rise up like skyscrapers. So his search could be a long one. Unfortunately for him, she is several meters away, positioned high in the upper levels of the meadow, where she waits, releasing subtle chemical cues into the air. He moves cautiously, climbing the stems one careful step at a time, making his way to the very top, where he will be able to get a better grasp of his surroundings and follow the chemical trail she leaves behind. But he's not alone. There are other males here, all with the same idea. A rival appears, moving along the stem. He's picked up on the same cues. Sheer strength means little on these narrow blades. The technique is to try and unbalance your opponent, displacing him without losing grip yourself. All of this happens in a race against the clock, as these males only live for a few short weeks, in which every minute counts. So a fall from this height isn't fatal, but it's a serious setback. He climbs on, moving away from the jostling males below, seeking a clear path to the female. But the meadow is full of unseen hazards. Hidden in plain sight, a crab spider clings to a stem. In its forelegs, a fly it captured moments before, just one of the many hidden threats he must navigate carefully, which others have not been so fortunate to avoid, falling prey to the risks that lie in wait. He resumes his ascent, antenna probing the air, following the pheromones that grow stronger with every step. To cover more ground, he takes to the air, unfolding his wings and launching to the next stem. A clumsy yet practical affair that steadily brings him closer to the female. And here she is at last. But something doesn't seem quite right. Another male has reached her before him. Firmly positioned on her back, the rival is already engaged in mating. He has arrived too late. His journey may have ended here, but the search is not over yet. In this meadow of towering grasses, the race for a mate is relentless. But for the short lives of these males, every day brings another chance and leaves no time for rest. But not all of the meadow moves at the same pace. At the edge of a woodland, a patch of foxgloves are catching the last of the evening sun. Here, bumblebees are still at work, making their final rounds as the light begins to fade. Foxgloves offer a rich reward. Their deep bell-shaped flowers are perfectly formed for the long-tongued visitors like bumblebees. As each tall spire rises from the woodland's edge, its pale flowers glow softly in the low light. Drawn by the colour and the scent, The bees arrive steadily, seeking the nectar hidden deep within each bloom. To reach it, a bee must push its way inside. And as it does, pollen brushes against its body, clinging to the fine hairs along its legs and back, which it transfers to each foxglove in turn. In this exchange, the foxglove is pollinated, ensuring the next generation will return to this clearing. And for the bee, it gains one of the meadow's most reliable late summer food sources, fuel that will boost the colony's strength before the harsher seasons set in. Without pollinators, flowers like these cannot set seed, and without flowers, the bees would struggle to survive. But while bumblebees prepare for the months ahead, others are only just emerging. Ivy mining bees. Close relatives of the bumblebee, they appear in late summer, timing their emergence for early autumn. Although they are solitary bees, they gather in large communal nesting sites, sometimes with thousands of individuals sharing the same ground. There is no hive, no cooperation in raising young. Instead, each female digs her own nest almost immediately, often close to the one she emerged from herself. With precise, tireless movements, she loosens the soil, creating a small tunnel that will become her nursery. A task that is repeated by many others around her. At first, the bank seems chaotic, thousands of bees moving in a coordinated bustle, each intent on their own task. But most of the bees flying low over the ground are males. They patrol the nesting area continuously, moving from entrance to entrance in search of newly emerged females. Their adult lives last only a few weeks, and their one goal is to mate. Male ivy mining bees do not dig nests and do not survive beyond the breeding period. Once mating opportunities end, their lives also come to an end. Females appear less frequently, but when one emerges, the response is immediate. Several males converge at once, all attempting to mate. The encounter is brief, but chaotic, lasting only moments before one male singles out a female. But it's a dangerous game. Not only can she be killed in the struggle, but all the commotion has caught the attention of some formidable hunters. Wood ants patrol nearby, opportunistic predators ready to snatch any unwary bee. For the ants, these moments of distraction are the perfect opportunity to strike. Once a pair is locked together in mating, they're vulnerable, slower to react, and easier to seize. An ant's grip is powerful. Once it takes hold, it will rarely let go. Clamping on to a leg or wing, it anchors the bee to the ground. Almost immediately, others are drawn in by the chemical signals given off by the ants, overwhelming the pair as they try to escape, beating their wings against the soil, attempting to lift free, as well as knock off any ants. But there is little hope. Working together, wood ants can overpower prey, many times bigger than their own size. They spray formic acid, a powerful chemical weapon which disorientates and weakens the bee until there's nowhere to go. Across the nesting bank, this scene is repeated again and again as wood ants catch unsuspecting bees, gripping their legs and wings, pinning them to the ground, before moving in unison, carrying the bee back to the nest. As well as the bees, other insects are taken too. Anything small enough they can overpower. As for the wood ant colony, this steady flow of prey is essential. The food brought back is shared throughout the nest, and instead of stores or larders, the colony act like one big storeroom to feed the developing larvae and sustain the queen, all before it's time for the colony to go dormant before the colder months arrive. So the bees are especially valuable. Rich in protein, they provide the nourishment needed to keep the colony alive until the spring's warmth returns. But for now, every foraging run matters. Despite these losses, ivy mining bees remain abundant. Their short lives and large numbers ensure that enough offspring survive to continue the cycle. Each female that is undeterred by the dangers digs her nest, constructing a series of underground chambers where she lays the next generation. Alone, yet part of this bustling community, she has ensured the survival of her species. For goldfinches, this is the season of abundance. Arriving in small flocks, these social birds feed together. Their focus is the seed heads of common ragwort, a plant often feared and removed, being toxic to grazing animals. Yet at this time of year, it becomes a vital resource. Each plant holds hundreds of tiny seeds, rich in energy, that offer exactly what these birds need as the days grow shorter. Goldfinches are perfectly equipped for the task. Their slender, finely pointed bills allow them to pluck individual seeds with remarkable precision. In autumn, feeding becomes an almost continuous task, as every seed taken now helps build the reserves that will carry them through the colder months ahead. But even in this abundance, vigilance is essential. A sudden shadow passes overhead. Instantly the flock erupts. Goldfinches scatter into the air, their calls sharp with alarm, as a bird of prey glides silently above. Only when the danger passes will the birds return. Their need to feed outweighs the risk. While the seeds are still plentiful, there's no time for hesitation, as soon the winter winds will strip the plants bare, and they'll have to find a new source. But for now, the goldfinches continue their harvest. A quiet gathering of colour and movement, making the most of what the season provides. In autumn, survival belongs to the strongest, but also to those who gather in time. As autumn fades and winter begins to tighten its grip, for many animals, survival now depends on what they've already secured. In the woodlands, grey squirrels remain active throughout winter, relying on the food they've gathered during the long months of autumn. Hidden away in small caches scattered across the woodland floor, grey squirrels have buried hundreds of acorns, hazelnuts, and anything else they can find. But remembering every hiding place is a challenge, and not every store will be recovered. Some are stolen by rivals, while many others will simply be forgotten. Yet these losses are not wasted. Each nut left in the soil has the chance to germinate, becoming the next generation of the woodland, and quietly repeating the cycle once more. As for the squirrels who do find their larders, the challenge isn't over. Winter brings scarcity, and scarcity brings competition. Territorial boundaries soften as hunger takes priority, and neighbours begin to stray into one another's ranges, so protecting your hard-earned food becomes essential. And squirrels have to remain vigilant and constantly alert, ready to defend their patch if a rival comes a little too close. This is no time to shed. Winter has stripped the forest of the easy rewards, and survival now depends on what was hidden away months before. So these tireless foragers press on, living on what they've collected in the past, while unknowingly planting the future. As winter settles across the moor, cold winds sweep in from the north, bringing with them a cold front that hardens the land. For Dartmoor ponies, this is nothing new. They have lived on these high grounds for generations. Short, stocky, and thick-coated, they are built for the exposure. While other animals retreat to shelter, the ponies remain out on the open moor, heads lowered into the wind, conserving energy as the weather closes in. Winter storms here can appear without warning. Snow sweeps across the plateau, driven low by the wind, softening the contours of the land and burying what little grazing remains. The ponies quietly stand through the worst of it, huddling close, pressing against one another, sharing their warmth against the biting winter wind. When it finally passes, the moor is transformed. Snow lies deep across the grassland, sealing away most of the food beneath. Finding enough to eat now becomes a daily challenge. The ponies spread out, moving across the white expanse. Where the snow lies thickest, they lower their heads and begin to dig, scraping and pushing with their hooves and muzzles, until small patches of gorse are exposed. Each cleared area is hard won, but energy must be spent carefully, so every mouthful matters. But the ponies are not alone for long. Their movements disturb the snow and soil beneath, revealing seeds, roots, and small invertebrates. Almost immediately, birds arrive, hopping and fluttering in their wake, taking advantage of what the ponies uncover, feeding where the ground has been opened up for them, as one animal's effort becomes another's opportunity. It's a quiet partnership that is unplanned but effective. As the seasons shift, winter softens into spring, completing the annual cycle of the moor. As life begins again across the open hills and valleys. For the animals that call this place home, the seasons aren't just a backdrop, they are a cycle of survival, growth, and adaptation, laid out in countless unseen moments. Some of these I've been fortunate enough to witness, while others are still waiting to be discovered. For me, this landscape remains a constant source of inspiration. Not just a place to film, but a place that continues to shape the way I see the natural world.